Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday, October 2024, the 21st of October. I hope you had a spectacular weekend, and I hope this Monday started off on a fine start for you. For me, yes, it did, and I am working through the rest of the day. So, giving God thanks for another beautiful, warm day in New York. As we continue with our Prepare for Your Wealth series, we are looking at tax planning. And now that we have all of the tax deadlines behind us, we ran through the extensions, which on the 15th was the last day to file taxes. Now you can still file up to, I think, December 5th. You can still do electronic filing. You can still do that. And for those who did not file their return and have a tax liability, just know if you haven't paid your tax liability, you will have a huge penalty and interest. But once you know that, once you're aware of that, then you just do take the necessary steps and get it done. Well, today we are looking at how we can prepare our documentation, what we need to prepare for tax year 2024. Because as you know, the year go in somewhat reverse. So 2023 taxes is prepared and executed in 2024. So 2024 taxes we will be doing in 2025. And we want to be proactive. We want to make sure that we are prepared for 2024 before it rolls in. We want to make sure that we have our documentations at the right place. We prepare them, we secure them, and when it's time to have our returns done, we are not in a frenzy. So, this is why we're taking time out to help us to prepare for that time and to just give us little pointers that we can bear in mind to have ourselves ready for tax season 2025. So, we have been talking about preparation. We also have been talking about speaking with your tax professional, your tax advisor to see what the changes have been made in the tax laws, to see how you can benefit from it, what you can maximize, and see how we can make the best of this situation because tax filing, tax preparation, tax filing is something that we need to do. But when we are aware as to what is needed, when we are aware as to what are some of the tax advantages, then it makes the journey even better. It makes the journey enjoyable. If taxes can be enjoyable, it's enjoyable for me. Why? Because when I'm able to assist a client, when I'm able to assist someone who is not even my client, help them to understand a little bit more about how tax affects them, what they can do in order to be on the right side or to balance things. It's a joy for me. So taxation is enjoyable. The tax process is enjoyable, and tax planning is definitely enjoyable because when you plan, you are in a better position than if something just pounced on you. So, this is why this year we decide to start tax planning early so all of us can be in the know and be prepared for whatever comes next. So, a few of the tax changes is basic for 2024. Few changes, and most of these changes that I'll be sharing is they're actually changed because to meet with the inflation rate. So five of the major changes in 2024 covers income tax brackets, the standard deduction, retirement contribution limits, the gift tax exclusion, and phase out levels for individual retirements, that's IRA, Roth IRA, and also the savings credit. This annual inflation adjustment ensures that the taxpayer aren't bumped into higher tax brackets due to cost of living increase rather than pay raises. Uh, so while many adjustments are relatively minor, even small tweaks can add up to substantial savings or higher bills. For example, an upper middle class couple could bank over $1,000 more by making the most of their increase. Say they increase their 401k contribution or shift their IRA deductibility planning. Those little changes can help very, very greatly for people who are looking for, these little changes. Um, some of the 2024 changes you need to know. Uh, okay, income tax brackets. The tax bracket for marginal tax rates were adjusted to reflect inflation for 2024 returns. We look at the 37% for individual taxpayers, the 35% for individual taxpayers. Now, this may seem, oh, this is mundane, but when you sit with your tax professional, they will explain to you, they will go through these. So it's not something for you to bother your head about, but just knowing that these are there, it gives you an idea as to, oh, so this is why that figure is there, and that is why that figure is there. So you have the 37% tax bracket for individuals, you have the 35%, you have the 32%, and these tax brackets comes with a certain income level. So the 37% for individuals, income level 609,350, and for married filing jointly is 731,200. The tax bracket for the 35% is over 200K for single and 400K for married filing jointly. The other tax brackets are 32%, 24%, 22%, and 12%. And then you have the last one, which is the 10% tax bracket. Now, the standard deductions rose 1,500 from 2023. So for married filing jointly, it's now 29,200. It was 27, I think 27,700 for married filing jointly. For 2024, it will be 29,200. For single or married filing separately, the standard deduction will now be 14,600, which is an increase of 750. Head of household status, the increased to 21,900. That increased by 1,100. So these are just little tweaks, little changes that actually will affect your 2024 return. For retirement plans, the contribution limits for employees can contribute up to 23,000 which is an increase of 500 from 2023 limit. So this limit applies also to 403B and most 457 plans. So, if you can increase your 401k contribution, that's also a tax saving. But just remember, deferring, if you will be retiring soon, make sure you speak with your tax professional, your tax advisor, your financial advisor to see what's the best strategy for you. So we're just sharing with you, but for individual purposes, it's best to speak to your tax advisor because it's not a one size fit all. Though you have these contribution limits, though you have access to these, make sure you speak with your financial advisor so they can help you tailor made your situation to match what you are entitled to and make the best for you so you get the most deduction which is available to you. The IRA catch up contribution limits to retirement plans for people age 50 and over, those were not changed. So you still have, which is the same as last year. Another change for 2024 is the gift tax limit. The amount for annual exclusion for gift rises 1,000 for 2024 from 17,000 to 18,000. Now, what is this gift thing? For the most part, people who give gifts of anything over 18,000 or 18,000 and over must file gift tax. And that again, speak with your tax professional and they will explain more on that for you because this does not apply to a lot of people. There are certain credits, tax credits, and deduction changes. In 2024, most higher income ranges will be used to determine a taxpayer's eligibility to deduct IRA contributions. And that gives a little saving. So it's a saver's credit. So there are certain limits that again you speak to your tax professional to see if you qualify or if you are able to deduct the tax save the IRA deductions, which is a tax savers credit. It is so important that when we share these information, it's not a prescription for anyone specific, but it's just giving you information that you can have an idea to go to your tax professional or to even read up some more. Go on the IRS website and just put in some of these information like the buzzword. What is IRA contribution? What is Roth IRA? What is the standard deduction? Just to read up, just to give yourself an idea as to what are these, why are these important, and how does these affect my tax situation personally. So when you sit with your tax professional, you have a little idea. Though you're not a tax professional, you may not understand the jargon, you may not understand all the different intricacies, but just to have a basic idea will help you understand a little bit more than what you understood last year. And you can also help someone who is not so privy. You can say, no, I know that I know a little bit, but I will take you to my tax professional, or let me find out from Miriam or your tax advisor who can help to share with you and to keep you in the loop. So it's always good to know, to understand. Now, I have been saying this for a couple of weeks, and I will still remind you, for those of us are who give contribution to charitable causes, if you have a charitable donation and if you're making monthly payments to a pledge that you have made, check with your tax professional, because guess what? You may benefit greatly if you just pay that whole lump sum for 2023 instead of spreading it over 2023, 2024. It may be more beneficial. I'm getting tongue twisted because it's very important. You may benefit greatly if you pay in that entire pledge for 2023. 2020, pay in now in 2024 so you get that deduction. It could increase your itemized deduction greatly if it's a sizable sum. So check out, speak to your tax professional, and they can give you an idea, and you may be benefited. You may either get back a higher refund, or your tax liability may reduce drastically because of that huge deduction that you receive when you make that charitable donation. Don't let that pass you by. It's better you check it out. You see the logistics, and it will not benefit you, than if you did not do it and then come next year when it's time for you to file your return and you're just a little bit off to get that huge deduction if you had just done your homework. So don't let that pass you by. Remember, it's a good deal. Also, if you have huge medical bills, if you can do what you need to do this year, it's almost the year almost is ending. If you find that you can do that procedure this year instead of waiting until January to do it, and you can get that huge deduction for those medical expenses, find out from your tax professional how will that affect you, and then you could schedule that appointment with your physician to see if that can be done so you can get that big deduction also. It may help if that entire amount is paid or is extracted, is done in 2024, so you can maximize your deduction, get a greater refund, or reduce your tax liability. I want to make sure that you get, what is a bang for your buck? I want to make sure that you are benefited in every way legally, getting all the deductions that you are able to get legally, or reducing your tax liability legally. That's what this tax preparation, this tax planning is all about. We want to make sure that you are prepared. We want to make sure that all of the variables are there so you can be benefited greatly. Let me see if I have any questions in the chat while I continue. Are there any questions? Oh, Nancy is asking. Hi, Nancy. What about 401k? 401k is a tax deferred savings that a lot of workers who are employed in whether private or public sector that they allow an amount to be deducted, a percentage of their income before tax to be deducted, and it is saved. I know for some persons, they they sometimes al- have it paid in after taxes. So once that's done, then when it is time for withdrawal, then there is no tax to be deducted because the taxes were paid upfront. But for the most part, it's a tax deferred savings. So once that money is pulled out, your taxable income is lowered, so you pay taxes on less income with that 401k savings, that 401k deducting before taxes is taken from your income. I hope that answers your question. So as we continue, uh, tax in a nutshell is intricate. Okay, let me see. If we have kids in college, can we file with them even when they have part-time jobs? Yes, you can file with them once they are not earning over the standard deductions, or they're not earning more than you. You can file with them. So that you will file claiming them, and for their little income that they earn, then a dependent return is filed so they can get their little refund too. But yes, you can still file with them even though they have a little part-time job. And I know a lot of times parents may not know this, and sometimes they really don't ask their tax professional. Therein, the parents may lose out on the bigger deduction because they the credit the tuition rate the tuition credit that is received once they're in college, it's beneficial to the parent than to the child, because the child may not have that much income to get that bigger deduction when they file by themselves. So it's so important. You see, it's good we're having these conversations so you are aware. Yes, although the child is working, that little part-time job is not enough to fulfill over 50% of their their own expense. So you still file for them, and then they can do a dependent return to get their little, they'll be happy to get their little refund. Or even if they don't get a refund, they may owe, but the deduction is greater for the parent. So let them file their little return as a dependent, but you claim the exemption. So that means you are claiming them on your return, and you get the bigger deduction, and then they file their little return. And it is important, it is better for you as the parent, take their documentation and allow your tax professional to file the return also, so there is no discrepancy. That was a very good question. Now, for those of young adults who are just getting their first job, or they're getting a nice big sum, mommy or daddy or parent may not be able to claim you on their tax return. But make sure that you fill out your W-4 properly, which is the documentation for the IRS to that your exemptions is filled out properly. So make sure you take that to your tax professional so they can fill it out, and you are not surprised at the end of the year that you owe taxes, because your HR person will let you know, take it to your tax professional. They will give it to you. They don't understand taxes, so they don't know how to fill it out. So you may be confused when you get it, because it's not something that you normally would get. You never normally see it, because this is either your first job or maybe your second job, and you did not know what you do initially. So take it to your tax professional, speak to your parents if you've never filed tax return before, and they will take it to their tax professional to assist you filling it out. It's better you're in the know than having the surprise of, why do I owe taxes? No, it's better that way. So you see, it's a joy knowing that, okay, all of these things about taxes, maybe next week I will share with you what a W4 looks like. Now, there are also the exemption forms for different states. All of the different states have different names. So I will just stick with the IRS since it's universally for the 50 states. All persons file an IRS return. There are some states that do not have a state return, but most states do. So you can just speak with your tax professional to find out what is that form for New York, what is that form for another state, for New Jersey or the other state. I know Delaware don't have a state form, and Florida. I'm not sure what other state. But for the most part, you could speak with your tax professional so they will be able to share with you what form. Now, I know for last year or 2023 return, there are some persons who owed taxes, who are working individuals, who get a W-2 and they owe taxes. Some of you may have had children were who you were claiming on your return, but because they have now gone into another age, they have now gone over 24 years old, they have now left college, so that exemption, that deduction, you're no longer qualified for. And then you will realize that I'm not getting the refund I normally get. Make sure you speak to your tax professional. They will help you change your W-4 so that exemption is no longer there. Because if you claim exemption for, say, three, and now it's just you and your spouse, or only you as an individual parent, guardian, you may end up owing taxes at the end of the year. So speak with your tax professional and have them help you go through that process so you are not surprised. It's good when you're getting the exemption, when you're getting the credits, but when the credits are no longer applicable, changes need to be made. So the W-4 needs to be tweaked so it takes off those exemptions. So now you will understand that you're not getting those. And what happens when you change your W-4? The W-4 is the document that is prepared, that's for the IRS, the IRS form W-4 that your employee gives you when you start, that your employer gives you when you start a job. Now, if you're in your job for a while and your situation has changed, you're no longer claiming for someone, ask your HR for that W-4, or you can go on the IRS website and have your tax professional help you fill it out, that it changes what you had there before. So if you had other persons you were claiming and you're no longer claiming them, you need to change that. So what will happen your employer will now be taking a little bit more taxes because that has changed. When your exemption reduces, they will be taking a little bit more taxes from your pay. Let's see what Anne Marie said. Hi, Anne Marie. At what age do you stop putting the child on your taxes? Okay, I think it's 19, but it's 24 if the child is in college. So if the child is still in college, it's 24. If the child is not working and they're living home, you can still claim them on your taxes. But once the child is over 19 and is working, I will check that out and make sure I give you the exact information. But for I know for persons who are in college, if you are 24, if the person is and 24 and over, then you no longer will claim them on your taxes. But that information I'll make sure give you for whether college or not or no college. Good questions. It's joyful doing taxes. It's joyful doing tax planning because now you know. Be in the know. Now, I'm going to touch on a little different area for persons who are working, who are employed by an employer, and now you are doing something on the side, whether you are doing coaching or you are selling something or you are assisting, you are doing some consultation. Bear in mind that you may get a 1099 at the end of the year, and the monies that they pay you throughout the year, they did not take taxes from it. So just so you know, the earnings that you get, you need to pay taxes on that. So it's going to be a little different than you just give your tax professional your W-2s. You now have a 1099, so you'll be presenting. Make sure you have a little folder or a little, a little box, a little shoe box, or a little folder. Get something nice at Staples. It's cheap. Those little packages that you can put your papers, your little receipts, because your little business that you just started, you buy stationery. You may have uh, cards that you hand out for, but I know now everything is electronic. You may have access to a website that you have to pay for. All of those are expenses. Just document all of those so you are able to present them to your tax professional when it's time to file your taxes. Your business expenses are valuable because it will reduce that amount of money that you get from that 1099. So with that 1099, it's income. Now the stationery, the website, the phone bill, the little light that you may use, and you may travel different places to see clients, those expenses, the toll, those expenses are attributable to your business. So put them aside, put them in that little folder. So at the end of the year, you can have them to give to your tax professional. So when they show you that, oh, there's 20,000 you get for your consultation, you know that it's gonna increase your tax bracket. Remember those tax brackets that I shared with you earlier? That 20,000 gonna increase your tax bracket, and you're gonna say, so what that means, you may end up owing taxes, but they will ask you what are the expenses. Then you will give them the expenses, and guess what, those expenses reduce that income that you get, so the tax liability will not be that enormous. You see how everything goes hand in hand, income, expense, and then you get the bottom line. It is so important to be in the know. So very important. Again, looking at tax planning, we also look at if there are some life insurance policies. Again, speak to your financial advisor. Some life insurance policies have cash value that you can take from. Speak to your financial advisor and see how that will benefit you. If you have some expenses to pay off, and say you do not want to take from your 401k, which is you may end up paying a penalty because you're not 59 and a half as yet. The other alternative is taking cash value from your life insurance policy and paying those debts. And guess what? That is not taxable. It's not taxable. So that's another tax planning strategy. But make sure you speak with your tax advisor. Your tax advisor will inform you, will instruct you. Well, yes, it has cash value, but it is not applicable in this case. Or they will say, yes, you can do that. And it's not something that you have to pay back. But there are some that you have to pay back. So speak with your tax professional, your tax advisor. That is the reason we explain it's not a one size fits all, but depending on the instrument that you have. Once you speak with your financial advisor, they can inform you as to what is applicable to your case. Nancy is asking, when you bought a house, what's the advantage we get? So, when you buy a house, the tax advantage is you get to deduct the mortgage interest, real estate taxes, if you're paying a mortgage. So that's one advantage of owning your own home, or more than one advantage of owning your own home. If you own your own home and say it's a two-family house and you live in one part, and you're renting, that's also an advantage because those expenses for the portion of the house that's rented, you can get, or you get a deduction. In that way, your tax professional will file a Schedule E to have, so it's the rental income and then the expenses, and also the the you get that portion of the house is depreciated, and you also, that's one of the expense that is also deductible. So it's a good thing to own a home, and it's also a good thing if you are renting, you also get a deduction for, you deduct those expenses for the rental part of the house, not the part that you are using, but the part that is rented. I hope that answer your question, Nancy. Also, just remember, as I think a couple weeks ago we shared, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we shared about land ownership and protection of your asset. Whether you have asset in the US or have asset specifically in Jamaica, most of the Caribbean is almost the same where the laws are concerned. Get proper information, the information regarding Benjamin Fraser, what Benjamin Fraser, the lawyer, shared with us 2 weeks ago. You can get access to your title if you don't have your title. For who have land in Jamaica and you need to get your title, that you can have access to that, that you can protect that asset, and you can have it added to your estate so your family can be secure when you leave this earth. Pay attention. Take advantage of all of the information that you can acquire to help yourself, to help others, and to secure your asset, to secure your estate, to secure your heritage, that your family, when you are gone, they will not be in a conundrum or confused, not knowing what to do, but they will say, "Oh, mommy, auntie, cousin really cared about me, so they prepared everything or most of everything, so we are not left in the cold." This is a part of tax planning. This is a part of planning for wealth. Just making sure that everything is intact, making sure that all the ducks in a row, as the saying goes, making sure that systematically everything is in place, that whatever happens, someone knows where the things are. We talk about healthcare directives. Those things may be simple, but what makes it so critical is when someone is in need of something, and Miriam is in need of assistance, and she may not have things in place, and they don't know what to do. Or someone will just have to make a decision on the whim because Miriam did not put something in place. She did not have these documentations ready. And so everyone is now confused, or they are just making decisions. One may make a decision and the other one will say, "No, I don't think that's what she wants." But if nothing is in writing, it's just a guesswork. And guess what? Someone will just have to get up and just make a decision to either help Miriam live or just let her die. So it's important, plan for wealth, as the scripture tells us, occupy till I come, or be good steward of what we are given. So all of this is helping us to be good stewards. So let's work on this aspect of our life, that we can be beneficial. We can live in a less stressful environment, less stressful time. We can walk around, we can live each day less stressed, knowing that we've planned. Mark you, no matter what plan we do, there are some things that comes in and shift things. But when we plan, all those things are shifted. We know, okay, this was here, so let me put this back here. But if no plan is in place, if everything is topsy turvy, you see my hands going, it this thing will cause your head to just hurt. But if things are in place, if things are, somewhat systematically placed in different areas, what needs to be put where, and someone knows where what is, it makes life so much better. Case in point, just a simple thing as a key. I may have told you the story before. I have a particular place in my house that I hang the keys when I get home. If I'm distracted on the phone and I get in and I'm talking on the phone, I come in, I put my bag up a certain place, and then I put the key a certain place. If I am distracted and I put that key where it should not go, you know what happened? The next appointment, the next time I'm ready to get out of the house, that happened Sunday morning. I was distracted when I got in Saturday afternoon. And it took me so long to find that key, all because I did not hang the key where I normally put it. You see, planning everything in life, once a plan is put in place, it makes life so much easier. So, Miriam, looking for the key. My sister is helping me look for the key. I couldn't find the key. Guess what? The key was in my coat pocket. All because I came in, I was talking on the phone, I was laughing, I was having a good time, a good conversation. But what happened? It threw me off track. And the next day, it delayed my starting where I needed to go. So, though that key situation may be not critical, but it's the same way when we leave things to chance, it throws us into a loop. We get frustrated, our blood pressure goes up, and sometimes the doctors don't even know what is wrong with us. You know what it is? We are stressed because we did not plan. We did not put things in place. And so we leave others out in the cold. We leave others to wonder. We leave others to just get frustrated because we did not plan. So, all of what I'm talking about, it's very important. Tax planning, healthcare directives, all of these things affect our life, affect what we do. All of these things I'm talking about, estate planning, these things do affect tax in the long run. So pay attention, speak to your tax professional so they can help you put things together that you can rest at ease, that you can relax, that you can breathe easier. So when you lie down on that pillow, when you go to your bed, whether it's a posturpedic or whether it's a regular bed, when you lie down, you will rest easily. Because can I tell you, if you if you are sleeping on a posturpedic, or if you're sleeping on a regular mat and you are frustrated, you will not get a good night's sleep. You will definitely not get a good night's sleep. But when you are relaxed, when things are put in place, when things are organized, when the plans are secure, then you will rest better. You will relax. You will be able to have good conversation. You would One of my friends told me that when things are not working out, when things are topsy turvy, she snaps at everybody and anything, even the cat. So having things in place, the poor cat will relax. The poor cat will not run when she see her coming, but she will relax. The cat will even come and want to rub themselves against her foot. But when things are not going well, even the cat feels it. So tell you what, organize yourself, organize your documents, stay prepared, get in the know, start calling your tax professional, check out irs.gov and see what little thing you can learn. and just bounce ideas off your tax professional. Check out your 401k. Have a sit down with your financial advisor so they can do an analysis of your investments to see if everything is intact. All of these things are proper planning. All of these things help. So you will not be in a crazy conundrum when it's time to do your taxes. I am so happy that we can enjoy this moment together, that we can prepare together, that we can plan together. And then when it's time to do all of the necessary work, whether it's someone entering into our family, people who have newborn babes, adding to the family, all of that is also, you speak to your tax professional. I have a new addition, whether you adopt or whether um, you give birth, all of these things also help. So everything is a part of this whole planning process. And then you could share with your financial advisor, I have a new birth, I have an adoption. How can I add them to my my will? How can I, what do I need to do to make sure that I have health directives for them? How do I prepare that W-4 to add them so that they can be a part of this whole process? This is so very extremely important that we are in the know. We are in the know. We are in the know. To know is important. To know is important. And someone reminds me that just reading something is not knowing. It's repetition is knowing. So repeating this information on a weekly basis helps you to get things in place, help you to be aware. So it's awareness creates the knowing. So once you're aware, you start saying, okay, I hear this constantly. Let me pay attention. So now you start reading and now you start, oh, I see. So being aware allows you to see, to understand, to read, and to know. It is so important. I cannot stress it anymore that preparation is important in every aspect of our life so we can rest at ease at the end of the day, knowing we have done all that we can. I hope this is helpful for someone, or one or two or 10. Let me know. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. For those who will be viewing on the replay, give me your thoughts. If there are any questions, drop it. I'll be happy to answer. Once again, this is a wonderful time to prepare for wealth so you can rest at ease. You can go on your needed vacation. You can relax with your family, enjoy a nice evening. It's still warm. Take a stroll, do the necessary little stroll. But whatever you do, prepare. Make sure you prepare because that will help relax, that will help rest easily, that will help you sleep like a baby when you have things in place. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification all so you will be privy anytime there are any information to be shared. Thank you for watching. Once again, this is Miriam Edwards for another episode of Mindset Monday.